Another time, when he began to live with us in the house, Sudama house here, the habit, every day at the end of the day, evening, all the leftover vegetables would be given to the servant maid. Every day. We should not keep anything for the next day. We have to get it over completely. So that day, evening, we came a little late, so the servant maid was waiting for us. So I rushed inside and collected all those beans. Usually we put them in a bowl and then give it. But that day there was no time to search for anything. I just took them in my hand, came running, and then dropped them into the hands of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan gave it to her, and she left immediately. And then when I turned, I saw one pod fallen there on the floor. That is slipshod work. Bhagwan would not like it. Bhagwan would like us to do every work perfectly, however small it is, however casual it is. So I knew that I had made a mistake because it had fallen. Then he looked at Devaki. What is it? You have dropped it. All right, now you go and eat it yourself. So I had no time to think. I had never eaten a raw pod of beans. And here he was ordering me to do that, and I had no other go. So I just ran there and took that and started to eat. And to my surprise and delight, it was so tasty. And I was wondering, my God, it's so tasty. Even the cooked one is not so tasty. I exclaimed immediately, spontaneously, Bhagwan, it is so tasty, Bhagwan. Devaki, that is not the taste of the bean, it is the taste of your surrender. Now I feel something. It's a taste of surrender. Because he said, he ordered, and immediately I rushed to do that without thinking. So this is how he taught me, through small, small demonstrations, how one should be. So every chant, every little demonstration proves a certain vital point for life, and he did so beautifully in very simple demonstration. And sometimes very gently and sometimes very powerfully. So there are so many such events, each one of them hit me with a certain point I could never forget. Yesterday I was telling, opposite to Bhagwan's Sannidhi Street house, many people who came at that time would have noticed there was a makeshift roof under which an old Muslim was seated. And there used to be huge vessels in front of him, the vessels with the dents. There would be a dent here, a big dent, and a small dent, and a big dent. So he would have a hammer, and he would be hammering on these vessels so that the dent will be removed, and it will be back to its original shape. Now we have to go. Very interesting, very sharp, very pointed, very interesting. Very agonizing sometimes. No, see, he was hammering all the time. He would bring the hammer down with such loud noise. I was sitting in the small veranda outside, that is just opposite to this. I was sitting inside the veranda. Swami was there, we were all singing, and our singing was interrupted by this huge noise. He was hammering. Every time it was so irritating, so jarring a note, that I started to complain mentally. We never had courage to say anything outside. In fact, I was so scared even to breathe loudly in those days, lest he should ask me to get out. So I was just thinking, my God, how irritating. We are singing so nicely and it's so beautiful inside, but then this hammering is spoiling all that. And then I just looked up, and there was this complaint in my eyes, and Swami knew. He smiled, derisively. He smiled, how do I say that? Mockingly. And I was thinking, my God, why does he smile like this? What is wrong with my thinking? It is really interrupting our singing. And then, as always it did, in a flash, I understood that he was saying, this is what I am doing here. I am also removing the dents and bringing you all to shape. Only I am doing it noiselessly. What is happening out there, he's hammering it down to remove the dent. And I'm doing the same thing on you people, but the hammer is falling on him. And he was removing the dent. That is, if there is a spiritual body for each of us, you can imagine how it would be. How out of shape it should be. We have a physical body, like that we have a spiritual body also. The spiritual body will look according to your level, your preparation, your level of spirituality. So there must be so many distortion in the spiritual body. And he was removing the distortions in all of us, and noiselessly at that. If there was any noise of this removal, that was upon him. So what was irritating me here, the way we came to him must be irritating to him also, but he never complained that he was removing the dent, the distortion in our spiritual life. So this is what I understood, and then it became symbol of his work upon the devotees. Even the gutter outside, I was telling these people only day before yesterday that it was raining, a man walked inside and the gutter water dripping everywhere. Because the water on the road and the water in the gutter, they got mixed up. So his dhoti was wet with that and he was dripping. After he left, I complained to Bhagwan, see Bhagwan, how much he has spoiled this place. There is gutter water everywhere. Can I, please, if you permit me, I will wipe it clean with my sari. He smiled again mockingly and he said, Devaki, this beggar's place is always like this, Devaki. And then, he would just make a statement and allow me to think and draw my own conclusions. If my conclusions were right, he would smile and raise his hand in benediction. And most of the time it was right, because he would put the idea into my head. It was in his presence. So when he said, this beggar's place is always like that, suddenly it flashed that all of us carry our past karmas, our sins, our difficulties, because all the difficulties of life are because of our past karmas, bad karmas. And we rush to him for relief. So when we prostrate before him, we are offering our sins to him. And in turn, we are taking blessings from him. So we are offering our gutter. His feet is always flooded with our gutter of past karmas. And this is what I understood. And the minute it flashed and the minute there was this knowledge, he smiled very beautifully, raised his hand and blessed me. So this is what the Guru is doing. And even when the Guru is gone, only the body has disappeared, now he has become Akhanda. His physical form has dropped, but the form of grace is still very much alive and it is working on us. Yogiji used to say that everyone who enters this ashram, right from the entrance, he starts his working. He is looking at you. You cannot escape his eyes when you enter this ashram, and he starts working on you. And every second, every minute you stay here, you are being flooded with his blessings. He would say, everybody, there is a downpour of blessings like rain. So nobody leaves the ashram empty-handed. Every time you come into the ashram and go out, you are carrying a bag full. The bag will depend upon your own mindset. But definitely, There is a bag full of blessings that you carry. It's not for nothing that you come into the ashram. The divine takes over as long as you are inside the ashram. And you go back, and those blessings will come a long way with you. Okay, Yogi Ramsuratkumar.